Hello, and welcome to Academy Unscripted. My name is Andrea Rowe, and I'm the Director of Individual Giving and Stewardship at the Academy. Today, I'm talking with my friend, Dr. Nate Rice. Nate is the Ornithology Collection Manager at the Academy. Nate, would you like to talk a little about what you do?
Hi, Andrea. Thanks for having me today. Yes, I'd love to talk about what I do. As Andrea said, I'm the Collection Manager in Ornithology. Behind the scenes, we have upwards of 20 million biological specimens in our collections. And included in that are about 250,000 bird specimens. We have upwards of 90% of the bird diversity of the world represented in our collection. And my job is to care for that, enhance it, and add to it. Since I started working at the Academy in 1998, I've led expeditions to 6 different continents and added 30 or 40,000 specimens to the collection.
I didn't realize you'd been to 6 different continents. That's incredible. Yeah, I think I remember when you were coming back from some of your expeditions to Vietnam. Those sounded incredible and possibly a little dangerous.
You remove yourself from humanity and your safety is up to you at that point. So we really need to have a lot of experience with field medicine, being able to communicate and coordinate with local people and indigenous tribes is very important.
So when you do expeditions like that, is it usually just you? Are you with other Academy scientists or other partners?
Yeah, I've done it all sorts of ways. The one thing that we always do is try to partner with local institutions, whatever that may be, if it's university or nature center or something of the sort. It really helps us to have local field hands who are knowledgeable about the terrain, about the birds that we're studying, but we can give a lot back to them, training them in field techniques, some of the specimens that they prepare staying in their host institutions. That's a great way for us to build, international relationships.
So something else I heard you talk about from being in some of these remote places is even though you're really at the edge of civilization, sometimes you're really seeing the human impact on the environment that you're exploring.
Yeah, that's a sad reality, Andrea. Nefarious people can get involved and unfortunately, money is king and forests disappear.
Some of the work you and the team have been doing in South America or maybe Central America have been in areas that the Academy was able to explore 20, 30, 40, even 50 years.
Even 100 or more years ago.
Am I right in thinking that now that we know more about some of the species that live in those areas, you're able to determine more?
One cool thing about biological collections and bird collections in particular is that the specimens are sort of a time capsule of what was happening when that organism was collected. It turns out that bird feathers are great at capturing what local environmental conditions are like. So that's great now, but we can go back 200 years in our collection and find out what life was like in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania on July 7th, 1880 and 1850 and 1780, and can compare it to specimens today. Likewise, our biological specimens are a great resource for the genetic diversity at that particular time. You think about your backyard birds, the common birds that you see are cardinal, robin, blue jay, catbird. But 150 years from now, will those still be the most common backyard birds? The biologists that currently live at the Academy, it's our duty to add those common things so that a century from now, researchers can look back on those.
I imagine being able to use specimens to kind of turn back time and learn things that we didn't know about the environment in the past probably sheds a lot of information on or provides data for things like climate change.
Those are specific vouchered events that you can go back to understand what the environment was like. Hugely important for climate change, environmental change. And it's exciting to see that. As the manager of that, nothing gives me more pleasure than to see our specimens used and B, used for new exciting research.
I bet that's super thrilling. We talk about my favorite bird, Nate. Is that okay?
The bee hummingbird, I think, is what you're going to say.
I love the bee hummingbird. It's my favorite bird.
Yeah. So the bee hummingbird is in Cuba. The bee hummingbird is the smallest bird in the world. In adult size, it's about the size of a penny.
Just they're so tiny. Do you want to circle back to collecting and talk about window kills?
Each year, we add 2,000 or 3,000 new specimens to the collection. And these are birds that have died incidentally, usually in contact with some man-made object. Otherwise, those birds would be lost. They're great, super important biological specimens for us to add to the collection. We have a team of friends and volunteers that usually just happen chance find window kills. We've partnered with the Philadelphia Zoo and the Pennsylvania Audubon Society to systematically study this. This is a big issue, and it's on the order of like 1 billion birds a year dying from contact with man-made structures. And then the other main way is direct collecting. So we're netting or shooting birds for the collection. Usually that's on international collecting trips.
So, you guys are super careful when you do that. I know.
Right. You have to realize no one is more passionate about birds and bird conservation than us in the bird department at the Academy. So we want to see bird populations increasing.
So, a question that people ask a lot when you and I are giving tours of the collection is, why do we collect multiple specimens of each species?
There's a couple reasons. And the primary reason is that we as biologists are interested in diversity. And so there's diversity at a given time, but then there's diversity over time. And we're interested in both of those planes. If specimens become darker or lighter over time, same thing. Is there more or less air pollution happening? Does that impact birds? These are really fascinating, sort of multifaceted, multi-layered questions that can be asked and answered in large part using our collections.
Okay.
Lightning round.
Lightning round. All right. What is your favorite item in our collection?
The iconic specimen.
What is your least favorite item in the collections?
There's some older specimens that I feel like the collectors should have added stuff.
If you were able to plan an event for the Academy, what would the focus be?
I would bring people into the field.
Academy expedition. What is your favorite diorama?
It's probably tied. I love the giant sable and I love the talking, especially now that it's been redone.
What other department other than your own would you like to attempt?
I'd like to work in mammals.
Yeah, so mammalogy, that's
Yep.
the one for you. I like that. What other department would you not like to do?
Probably the fish collection.
I was thinking the fish collection. And I was like,
Yeah.
you would not like to do fish. If you could be another animal or plant for a day, just one day, what would you choose?
Probably like a crow or a raven.
What is your favorite Philly spot?
Well, that's easy. It's the Academy of Natural Sciences.
Of course.
1900 Ben Franklin Parkway.
Where else?
And specifically the Ornithology collection.
What is the most wondrous thing in the natural world to you?
There's a type of behavior in birds called lek behavior, L-E-K, and that's basically sort of a communal display ground of birds. You can actually see evolution happening.
All right. Thank you, sir. This was really fun.
It was my pleasure, Andrea.